Hello and welcome to Jagran HiTech Conversation. I've got Mr. Toda with me from Amazon today, and you've been in this ecosystem with Amazon for the last 2 decades, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, almost 19 years almost.
Yeah, and you've seen the transition from the very start of e-commerce to now the AI, LLM world quick commerce world that we're living in. This conversation is going to be around all of that in terms of the actual implementation of AI into your entire ecosystem and how all of that has been changing, right? Before I start this conversation, just from my personal understanding, we've been seeing a lot of questions around in terms of there's been a lot of abuse of tokens of AI, right? And there are these enterprises which are using a lot of these models at large, and there's somewhere not being able to understand that this is the right way to use it, and this is the optimal way to use it, and this is how we work for the environment also while we're using it. So, at Amazon, how do you guys manage your way around that?
At Amazon, we give our engineering community, and the token usage is not just limited to engineers anymore. I consume a lot of tokens myself in terms of directly through my tools or indirectly through other systems that I use that might consume a lot of tokens. So, but going back to in terms of how do you manage tokens, we don't really manage tokens. This is a very early stage in the evolution of various tools within the AI development lifecycle that most of the engineers or builders in general are trying out many different things.
Got it. So you've seen, AI has been around. I think it was ML before. Now the fancy word is AI. I think Amazon has been using ML for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
AI or ML for enterprise in terms of all of your back-end operations and how you optimize the customer's end-to-end journey versus AI, LLM for the end user, probably in the form of a chatbot like
Correct.
What are the core differentiators for you when you're designing both these systems?
I think we basically start with either through an AI evolution or Gen AI has been transformative in terms of how much it can push the envelope in terms of kind of changing the experience a lot more radically, be it front-end experience or the insight you can get from for example, in seller listing. Previously there would be a set of attributes that you had to fill that were in 60 fields that an average seller would fill. Now you could go with, we have created systems in some cases where on Bazaar you could list 5 items and list your product, or show your product and take a picture and we'll fill up the rest of the information. So it rarely starts with, I need to use this technology to do something versus, I have this business problem. I would like to use the best available technology with me. And it could be my custom built ML model that is doing some local intelligence to a really impactful Gen AI model that has a lot more information within its purview than we use. Sometimes it may not be the best usage. You can simply use a very simple localized model to make that experience better. For example, in our fulfillment centers, we try to look at a product and figure what is the right packaging for that. Is it something that is fragile, needs some more packaging? Is it a bigger box? Is it a smaller box? We just have models based on the catalog information that we have. And they work perfectly well. And so it's not necessary that we start with how do I use this technology versus how do I solve this business problem and use the best technology available.
Talk about you take care of emerging markets across regions, and if you were to do like an apple-to-apple comparison in terms of what is the end user behavior towards this whole AI changed in an emerging market versus a developed market, what would be those core parameters or the core differences that you're seeing in the end user?
I think in especially emerging markets, especially India, has been supremely at the forefront of adapting to embracing this new technology and using it in various ways. If you go back one step, take a step back and see the different nuances that Indian customers, emerging customers in common have. There are 2-3 huge variations. One is just the nascency of the customer base, relatively compared to the established customers markets. The customers in emerging markets have a slightly less long-term relationship with e-commerce in terms it's not decades and decades. In other countries, it has reached into the 20 years of maturity, and there is a lot of engagement, which means a lot more trust and a lot more frequency. That leads to other kinds of business outcomes that are easily manageable and favorable. Then, if you look at the affordability spectrum, we have a very large spectrum of affordability in terms of what you can afford. We have a 150 rupee shirt to 15,000 rupee shirt on the same platform. And there is less homogeneity to the preferences versus this heterogeneous base needs different solutions of personalization at a really fine-grained level to identify and offer that. From a financial payment standpoint, there is not one single payment instrument. There is not as much access to credit as it is in established markets. You have
Right.
credit card, high penetration of credit card, high availability of credit. It's not as universal. So that leads to a lot more different formats of, not that there is a preference for us, but it is a more diverse distribution between pay on delivery to credit card usage to branded credit card usage to net banking. So this is a huge diversity in terms of preferences in which payment method to use. That has its own implementation complexity on which one do you reward, where and how you provide. That also leads to customers' complexity. So we feel like with all of this complexity, we've been adding more and more information. Oh, this is a new customer. Let's give them more videos to see. This is a new customer. They need to trust this, and here is the review information that is available.
Right.
That leads to slowly add more and more information overload to our customers. And that needs a little bit of training at some point to say, okay, if you want to buy this, you need to look at this review, look at this. How frequently is it selling? Is it a 4.x star product?
Right.
And do all of this. I feel super excited that you can have that for people who want to go through that journey. But Gen AI can do that for you. These are predictable things that you want to look at. You can look at the price that is varying. This is at the lowest price. You've been looking at this. So I have this. The tool has this infinite memory that can go back in history and look at everything that I've done, make sense of all of that, make sense of all this product information that might be a 300-page book in some instances. That's how much customer reviews that we have. And it's synthesizing all of that and giving me a recommendation on what to buy. That I think is super useful in this context where you have this diverse customer base. This unifying thing is that everybody wants that high product at a good value, at the best time to buy it, at the greatest deal that I can get. And somebody is telling that they will do it for me. I would love for that to happen.
You mentioned about generative AI and how everything is being designed around that. While generative AI does open up a lot of creativity, a lot of possibilities, there's another side to it where there's a lot of AI slop being generated, especially we've seen a lot of reviews being manipulated. So this whole implementation of LLM in terms of it being able to go through all your reviews, have you made a case for in terms of, it can figure out that this is human written or this is AI written, and have you actively worked towards that?
Yeah. So the reviews has been something very close to Amazon and something super critical to earning trust from our customers. So we take reviews very seriously. Not only us as a marketplace, our sellers care for their reviews very deeply.
Right.
So there is a direct proportion to how fast you can get reviews leads to faster sales. And when something is so powerful and influential in a purchase decision, there is likelihood of abuse, and it's not something that is foreign to us. We have been working on review moderation, keeping a very high bar on trusted reviews. We use several algorithms to figure out human-created content from machine-created content, colluded content. So there is a whole team and set of resources that work very deeply on keeping the integrity of the reviews really tight. On top of that, when some machine this is my interpretation of what happens, it's more than an organizational answer, is when you have a system that is a smart system that is looking at these reviews and trying to summarize, there are attributes that it takes into account. There are positive reviews that look short and not so helpful because there is helpfulness core to it. So an algorithm that is looking at it is a lot more unbiased and takes all of these factors and creates its own algorithm to figure out the right synthesis to make from it. So this is not helpful. So I may want to degrade the input of this contribution of this into my summarization. So naturally, there is that self-correction and abuse reduction through that process. So you can trust the overall summaries fairly well.
My last closing question to you, we've been all talking about AI from the last 4-5 years since it's become mainstream. We're in the implementation stage of it now. As Amazon, as a representative of Amazon, what is more paramount to you in terms of getting that best cutting edge tech to the end user, or how do you balance this out? I understand both of them would be very important, and the second part would be making sure that your very last mile delivery is very successfully completed and there's a very positive atmosphere in the user's mind when they end up receiving their product. So two very different aspects, one very top line, one very real world. So how do you balance it out?
Yeah, the engineer in me or a product manager in me is always very passionate about using technology, but it doesn't mean anything if it doesn't serve a purpose.
Exactly.
So, be it in finding the right route for our delivery associates, being in finding the right packaging for in our fulfillment centers to find the most optimal kind of packaging, not too much, not too less. Being able to detect abuse patterns so that we reduce waste from our systems and offer our sellers better pricing. Being able to detect the right kind of product to summarize and present to you. All of these are business backwards / customer problem backwards.
Right.
Solutions that fetch for the technology. You don't want to find a technology fetching for some experience.
Right.
It never worked. I've been part of some of those things. I've tried some of those things. It's like, okay, how can I use this technology? That never works. So what is the best technology for this business problem?
Correct.
And fortunately, it's a very highly empowering or a powerful tool to have Gen AI. It's to solve some of these problems. So it's great to use it. But if you ask me to, I'm going to pull this away from this tool from you, I'll find some other tool to provide that experience. Right? We're all excited that tool is there, but experience is what matters to us most, and customer delight is what matters to us most. Whichever tool we can use, we will use.
Got it. Great. It's been great chatting with you. Very insightful for me as well. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.